Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page, where I do this daily live stream around the divination cards that I've drawn in the morning. And so today is Tuesday, January 29th. Can you believe that? End of January already. Time flies. Time flies when you're having fun. As you can tell, I am still at home. This time I'm still in the dining room. I'm just sitting on the other side of the table because the sun is out, which is nice, but it's so bright that when sitting in the other direction that I was in yesterday, it's just there's just so much sun coming in that it kind of washed out the camera. So I had to switch things around a bit. Yeah, I'm live streaming from home because of the frigid temperatures. To tell you the truth, I would really go from like garage to garage, but I was more concerned about George. And then if something happened and mom's down here by herself, that's not a good situation. So the best possible scenario is for me to do the live stream, at least probably through the end of the week, because it's supposed to be pretty cold. So anyway, welcome. I live in Tomah, Wisconsin, which is about an hour east of the Mississippi, northwestern Wisconsin. And, we usually get cold weather to begin with. It is Wisconsin and it is January. And to tell you the truth, this is probably closer to what we would normally get usually. Maybe not quite as cold, but the wind chill. But, we do have those kinds of days here. So we just have to get prepared for it is all. So anyway, yeah, it just I brought up part of my old studio that is was still kind of put together down in my office downstairs and brought it upstairs. So at least I have decent lighting. And Paul did me a favor last night and went and got my microphone and my camera and my adapter for the cable. And so now I'm set. Now I actually have more of a real studio again. So I've got my phone and I am going to like and share the broadcast before we get started with the cards. Just have to I got to scroll. Here we are. I'm going to love it and I'm going to share it. Hey, that background doesn't look too bad. All right, so I am going to send it over to my news feed and to let my friends know that I'm live streaming. And if they could please join me. There we go. And we're going to send it over there. And Stephanie, our social media manager, she usually does a lot of the sharing for us, really, all of the hosts, the show hosts. But she has some family stuff taking place this week. She's with her little boy, and so there's some medical treatment going on. So I'm going to share to the groups as well. And so it's just going to take me another moment here to write a message to the peeps and just to remind them, oops, got to spell right. Gentle reminder that I'm live streaming and to please join. There we go. Yay. Now you just get it to the right closed groups. That's what bifocals can do, right? There. Excellent. It doesn't take all that long, but I appreciate you waiting for me. And for those who are in the chat, if you wouldn't mind sharing as well, I really would appreciate that. And so what we're going to do, got to turn down my sound. No, you're not. This is Rob Kendall. Hi, I am Nellie Kelly. No, you're not, and I can prove it. Too funny. And that's because Mervyn Kelly is in the chat. He hasn't said anything though, but Rob kind of let me know you're around. So let's see. What else? Oh, before we get started with the cards, I do want to share with you what my mom had told me about the dream I had. I shared the dream with you guys a couple of days ago. Then I had, I think it was Sunday morning, wee hours of the morning. And when I had shared it with you, I hadn't shared it with my mother yet. And so, oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. The studio is kind of quivering. I don't know what that's about. I gotta check my feed here. I should be okay though. Let's see, where's my adapter? Here's my adapter. Just want to make sure it's plugged all the way in. Here we go. I don't know what that's about. Well, as long as you guys can still hear and see me, that's the important thing. So oh, Rob says this is a Facebook name. I know. Yeah, right. I realize that. I didn't know you tagged him though. Thank you for doing that. And Valerie's here too. Hello, Valerie. Good to have you here in the chat. The other day on Sunday morning, I had this dream in the wee hours of the morning. And it was one of those dreams, that wasn't really playing out or helping me with the emotional stuff going on in my life, right? We all do that with our dreams. It was one of those dreams where it was, I was actually there, right? And in this dream, I actually was helping Minnie with a class, Minnie Kansman. And I was on my way home. And on my way home, I was riding a bike, which I haven't done like in years. And the traffic, which wasn't really heavy, it wasn't like, Midtown New York or anything like that. But there was some traffic and it was starting to slow down and actually came to a stop. And I realized that there were people who were in their cars, were pointing up, and some people were actually getting out of their cars. And I looked up and it was a beautiful blue sky. It was so pretty. And up in the sky, there were two really large eagles. And they were bald eagles. And they were flying, and they were really big, right? And so when they were flying, they were kind of flying stacked, and they were following each other, right? And so it was almost like synchronized dancing, and we were all looking up into the sky, watching them. And pretty soon, they changed and they faced each other, and you could see their talons were out, and it was like they were fighting. And so I heard somebody say, no, they do that when they're going to mate, right? And I'm looking at it, and it didn't feel like that. It really felt kind of aggressive. And the next thing I know, I am standing outside of a rather tall building. It wasn't like Chrysler building tall. It was, maybe, 5 or 6 stories. But what I noticed was that there was a man who had fallen and was falling, and it looked like maybe he, when I saw him, it was like 3 stories high or so. And when he landed on his feet, and he looked like he had some sort of like rappelling gear on, right? And he was upset. He was angry. And he was saying, that's just not fair. That's so unfair. That was dirty fighting, and he's trying to get out of this contraption he was in. And it was like he didn't see me. And that's about when my alarm went off and I woke up. And so anyway, I had shared this dream with the live stream 2 days ago. I think it was on Monday. Maybe it was Sunday. Today's Tuesday, right? I did share it on Sunday, but I hadn't shared it with my mom yet because she was having kind of a rough day on Sunday. So I didn't want to do this, share this with her and, ask her to do something. And so we talked yesterday, and I shared the dream with her. And so, like any other good dream interpreter, she looked at me and she says, and so what do you think it means to you? And I said, well, you know, what the first thing that came to me was that there's countries that use an eagle for a symbol. And we're not the only country that does that. And I said, it feels like there's going to be like, this is not a personal message, but more of a global message, right? And that something about a fall. And I said, I didn't see the eagle fall out of the sky. I didn't see that. What I saw was this man who had fallen, and it felt like he was like one of the eagles, but I didn't see him fall directly out of the sky. When I saw him, he was almost on the ground. And I said, so it might be that we're not actually going to see the fall, but we'll know about it, right? And so, and she goes, well, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna think about this, and I'll let you know what comes to me, right? And so this morning, at breakfast, she was talking to me about it, and she said, it feels to me like you're right, that there was something that you saw in the symbolism of it about countries. And she said, and the people that were parked in the street were watching it. And so she says, there's going to be an audience. There's going to be people who know about it. And so she was saying, you know, and then she was telling me about a dream that she had years ago, that was something similar. But you know, talking to an elder about one of your dreams, even though it's my mom, you know, is literally sitting on my hands and trying not to jump into the conversation, but to let her finish. And so I just wanted to share that with you, because there were people in the chat on Sunday when I shared it that wanted to know, what did my mom have to say about it. And so she said to me that the hard part is to be patient and watch it to play out. And she goes, you know, and I'm always watching all the different channels, including BBC. And so she says, if I see something, I'll let you know. And so, you know, even though we are like flat out busy all the time, you know, spirit does get through. And dreams for us are really important. My grandfather, my Misho, which is my mom's dad, he was a spiritual leader in a traditional Native American religion called the dream drum, or the big drum. And dreams are very, very important to that religion. And so I grew up sitting around the table at breakfast time sharing dreams. And, you know, and I thought everybody did that. They didn't. But this is what I grew up with. And so it's almost like second nature to share about it, and especially with my mom, to help understand it, you know, from her point of view. Yeah. So I just wanted to share that and finish it up. Keeping a promise that I made on Sunday. Rob is saying the way the head faces are two-headed was symbolic meaning. I think so. I really do, Rob. The fact that it was almost like the synchronized dancing at first, the way that they were flying together, weaving, and you know, and if we're looking at symbolism and interpretation, you know, I would say that they got along, right? They were in sync. And then something happened where they actually turned and faced each other. And like I said, it didn't feel friendly. It felt more aggressive. And I didn't see the fall. I didn't see the one eagle fall out of the sky. What I saw was this man just before he landed on the ground. Right. And when he said dirty fighting, what went through my mind was like, oh, like a street fighter, right? Where there's no rules. There's no rules. There's not a what do they call that in boxing? The guy that makes sure that they don't hit below the belt and no biting, you know. It's like a referee. Yeah. I think that's what they're called. I think that there's more to that though. Or, or maybe it was more like cage fighting, like MMA, which I don't watch, but yeah. Hey, Mervin's here. Good to have you here, Mervin. It's always good to have you in the chat. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I thought maybe there was more to it than that in the referee. So anyway, I wanted to finish that up and let you guys know that what Mom had said about it. And like she said, the challenging part is to wait and to watch it and wait for it to play out, right? Wait for it to play out. So what if we talk about some cards, huh? Talk about the cards. For those who might be watching in the recorded, by the way, thank you for being here with me this afternoon, or whenever you watch the live stream. This is the card that we continue to work with. Angels and Ancestors, an oracle deck by Kyle Gray, and the author or the illustrator is Lily Moses. We are going to be shifting to a new deck within the next, I think I want to get it started like on February 1st, which is a deck that I actually got as a gift from Mervin, and it's Druid Animals, and I think you guys are going to like it. Now, I've only kind of gone through the cards and looked at them. I'm going to sit down and actually use them in the next couple of days. I'm really, really working on a magazine right now. But as breaks in between reading Carl's book, I'm going to start working with the new deck. And so we'll get that started in a few days, right? But in the meantime, this is the deck we're still using. And the first card that came this morning is this one. Protection Guardian. Protection Guardian. Now, we've had her before, not in a while, but we've had her before. Yeah. Protection Guardian. And the cards have just so much detail to them. This one, as you can see, her headdress, right, is, if I can stop moving around so you guys can actually see it, is peacock feathers, right? And she has long earrings, and for me that means clear hearing, right? But the other thing that I noticed on this card that I haven't ever mentioned before is that behind her, her head, is a halo. Yeah. In the middle of her right hand palm, looks like a crystal of some sort, doesn't it? Or an orb, one of the two. Lots of stuff going on in here. And I want to get down to her shield. Her shield has hearts on it. And it has either the Celtic cross, right? Or also depicting the 4 directions. So the Protection Guardian, drop your shields. Drop your shields. And, in some ways, it's kind of counterintuitive, right? Because we're always talking about having our protection up. Have your protection up, right? Depending on what kind of protection you use, it lasts about 12 hours. And so, you've heard me remind you guys lots of times, is to try to get into the habit of doing your grounding and your protection twice a day, once in the morning and once before you go to bed. So that way you have, you're covered 24 hours, right? But with this card, they're saying, drop your shields. Hello, Bobby. Good to have you here. It's always good to see you in the chat. Dropping your shields. Like I said, it seems like it'd be counterintuitive, right? You'd think that you'd want to have your shields up. And how many times have you said that or even thought it? You're in a situation and you go, shields up. especially when you're an empath, and it's like, okay, it's getting kind of dicey in here. We got to get the shields up. And the protection guardian is telling us to do the opposite. The message that Kyle writes about is drop any shields of shame, resistance, and fear that are standing between you and your chances of enjoyment and fun. Know that you don't need to hide who you are or the gifts that you have. You were born to shine. So it's really not about protecting yourself from someone else. It's about keeping your energy in, pulling your energy in so that you're not noticed. And sometimes that you do need that, depending on where you're at and what you're going through, that you want to go unseen. And so you pull your energy in. It's a very shamanic thing to do. So you go kind of hidden and unseen, right? There's a time and a place for that. This particular card is saying that if you're using your shields to hide who you are, to hide your gifts, is to drop them and be who you are and let people see who you are. Hey, Tina, good to have you here. It's always good to see you in the chat too. And so the protection guardian is basically saying, drop your shields that hide you. And that if we call on her, she will hold in place the protection that we need for our highest good. And so that way all of our energy is sent to the use of our gifts and to the use of working our soul contract, doing our personal healing, right? Rather than using our energy to keep shields in place that are hiding us, or maybe we're also talking about boundaries too here, that maybe those boundaries are using more of our personal energy than spiritual energy, right? And when we do that, when we use our personal energy, man, we get fatigued because you can only keep it up so long, especially if your cup is already half full. If your cup isn't overflowing, eventually, if you're using your personal energy to keep those shields up or those boundaries up, you're going to feel it. You're going to start feeling it in your physical body. Yeah. Has anybody in the chat experienced that? It's a kind of a rule of thumb as an energy worker, especially when you're doing things like space clearing or anything like that, is when you begin to use your personal energy, you feel drained, you feel tired, you get a headache, you feel achy, rather than feeling empowered and joyful and energized. You feel the complete opposite. And when you're using creator energy, you do feel energized. You feel really good, right? When you're consciously using that creator energy that's flowing through you to do the work, and you're the conduit. When you're using your own energy, your personal energy, is when you feel depleted. That's just a rule of thumb. Okay. So Kyle goes on to write that the protection guardian is a female version of Archangel Michael. I never knew that. That was one of the cool things about learning from this card and learning from Kyle, is about the female version of Archangel Michael. He says that she's fierce, protective, yet loving warrior angel who carries an indestructible shield of power and protection and will come to all who call upon her. She'll help you drop your fear-based shields and move into a loving, protective force field that will keep you safe, but will allow your gifts to shine out. So she'll do the protection so that you can use your gifts and you can shine. and use your energy for all of that. He goes on to say that you may have encountered shame or embarrassment in your past, but that's not your present. Angels are drawing close at this time to help you move beyond any limiting thoughts, emotions, and patterns that may be making you feel unsafe. So, when we have experienced trauma of any kind, emotional, mental, spiritual, physical trauma, we tend to guard ourselves, right? And so when we do that guarding, we're still using our personal energy, and so we're not able to really focus on the healing aspect of it, because we're holding that guarding or that protection in place, right? Did you ever injure, like twist your ankle or your knee or sprained your wrist or, something like that? So it hurts, right? And so when you're trying to get around, or for the next few days, you're guarding it. You're trying to you're taking care of it, right? You're making sure that you're not going to re-injure it. And so you're really focusing on protecting that part of your body. It's called guarding. Yeah. And so we do the same thing in our auric fields, our light bodies, our spiritual body, our emotional body, and our mental body. We do the same thing. We guard it after experiencing a trauma, right? Rather than healing it, we're kind of making sure it doesn't happen again. Yeah, Rob is saying using a modality heals both. Sometimes, yep, it's true. That's a possibility. It depends on your intention. Yeah, depends on your intention. And Tina's going, me, yeah. Once, and I think you're talking about the depletion, the energy depletion, when you're using your personal energy. Yeah, it's not fun. I've done it. Made the huge mistake once. Huge. Never did it again, because I learned the first time. I did 2 space clearings on one day, nearly back to back. I think I had like an hour and a half in between. Instead of telling either one of the clients is like, no, I can't do it that day, but let's find another day, I was just trying to accommodate both of them. And yeah, that second one, oh God, it took me a while to get through the space clearing, and it worked out fine for the client. Me, when I got home, I went to bed and I slept because I was that tired. And it only happened once. I had the headache, had the body aches. I felt like I was coming down with the flu. No, that was just from using my own energy. And so, yeah, I learned a big lesson that day. And so I know what it feels like. Don't want to go back there. Bobby is saying, absolutely, but these days I just excuse myself and go out and soak in some Mother Nature. Yeah, yep. We all have our ways of healing through it, right? It's going, oh well. Yeah. Yeah, it's through experience, right? Through experience. And really, when you're using your gifts, you really don't really get good at them until you start using them. And the use of them, we learn about them, right? Through the experience. And I certainly did that time. Yeah. I laugh about it now. It wasn't so funny then. All right. So Kyle goes on to say that know that angelic protection is swirling around you at this moment and will help you move forward in more fearless ways. Call on your guides for help in changing your frequency so you can feel safe and protected at this time. You're stronger than you think, and your angels and ancestor guides are here to help you realize this now. So with the protection guardian, that's what it means when it says drop your shields. Drop the shields that you have in place that is using your personal energy. That you're guarding a part of yourself that feels unsafe, and allow spirit, call on her, call on your spiritual team to help you with that protection so that you can allocate your energy toward healing that trauma, the soul growth. And then once you get through that, you have even more access to your gifts and to your intuition. And so it's really about, for me, it really is about how do you use your energy? How do you use it? What do you allocate it to? And as an aware, conscious being that you guys are, because if you weren't, you wouldn't be listening to this live stream, right? Is that when you make the conscious decision to allocate your energy, that's huge soul growth. It is, because a lot of people don't do that. They're very unconscious about it, or subconsciously, which isn't all that bad. You'd rather be subconscious rather than unconscious, that's for sure. But when you can do it consciously, yeah, you're making huge strides in your soul growth. Huge. All right. Now, let's get to the second card. The second card is this guy. Now, he hasn't been around for a while. The Fire Guardian. The Fire Guardian. We're going to bring him close so you guys can really see him. Okay. Color red instead of blue. Fire energy. And again, here we got something in his right hand. His right hand is an orb. And inside the orb is a tetrahedron. Not a star tetrahedron, but a tetrahedron, which is a triangle. It's one of the Platonic solids in the sacred geometry. And the Platonic solids are the building blocks of all life. Right? Okay. So ignite your passions. And notice both palms are up in the receiving mode. Bracelets on his left wrist. It's kind of like conductivity, right? And if you can see on his skin, it looks like smoke or swirls. Fire Guardian. Ignite your passion. And see, in the second card is always supports the first one, right? And so the message in the first one was to drop your shields. And that is about how, and asking for help, asking your spiritual team, asking the protection guardian to come in to hold those love-based boundaries and shields so that you could use your energy for other things like your gifts and like your healing, right? So that your light can shine even brighter. And so this Fire Guardian is all about using the energy to really get excited about your gifts, about what you can manifest and bring in to support your soul growth in a good way. In a good way. All the resources that you might need, right? Yeah. And to get excited about your gifts, because when we're using them, we usually feel pretty good, right? So, when you're using one of your gifts, if you can just think back, maybe it was even this morning or this last hour that you used one of your gifts, and how did it feel? How did it feel? I'm going to use an example. And so, Tina, I hope it's going to be okay to use this example. Tina PM'd me a video. And in this video is an old, I don't want to call them elders because they looked my age or maybe younger. Maybe. I don't know. I don't even know if that was you, Tina, filming a video. I don't know. But anyway, it was a couple, a Native American couple, and they had pulled over because they saw an eagle. It was a golden eagle sitting on a fence, and they got close enough for like 5 minutes. They were doing with their phone, right? Recording and talking to this golden eagle. And let me tell you, watching it, yes, I was concerned about the eagle, because it's a little uncommon to be that close to a golden eagle or any eagle for that matter, for that length of time. So was the eagle feeling okay? Was it injured? Or was it really about being that close to that golden eagle medicine, right? It felt when I was saying, wow, that's a golden eagle, and look at it, and it felt good. It felt good, and I was so thankful to Tina for sharing that with me, right? And so that is, to me, that's Tina using her gifts. I don't know which gift it was, communication. Maybe she was the one that was with the golden eagle. I don't know, but to me, that's a prime example of somebody using their gifts, because how could you not feel good being with that energy, even if it's in video, right? Yeah. Oh, so see here, Tina says that it was me filming. All right. Well, that is a huge, huge dose of eagle medicine. Eagle medicine. And for that to come to you, and was that your husband, your hubby, your guy? I know you kept calling him babe, so I hope it is. To have that kind of eagle medicine that close to you for that length of time, pretty awesome stuff. So Spirit is really, really supporting you. Supporting both of you. Yeah. So, and this is what my mom would say, right? Is what were you thinking about? What were you feeling when you first saw the eagle? Because that's related, right? And I would be asking the eagle for the message, and I love that you guys were so thankful. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for coming to us. And then asking about the message. Yeah. Well, that's good. It was good to see him on film, on the video. And you feel it daily. That is nice. So, and using your gifts in that way, right? It's a prime example. Prime example. So I feel so grateful, and I do appreciate you sharing it with me. To be that close to that kind of medicine made my heart feel good. So thank you, Igwian. That is a formal Potawatomi thank you, Igwian. Yeah, it's good stuff. All right, so all right, so here we go. Fire Guardian, ignite your passions. Ignite your passions. Got to get to it. The message is connect with your desires. That sparks could lead to something beautiful. The fire guardian represents the angels of fire. Allow the fire guardian to help you awaken the wilder side of yourself and burn away any fear or shame that stands between you and your desires. Okay, so if your desire is to use your gifts in an optimal way as much as you can, right? So you know that when you say something like that, that there's going to be some things that you have to heal, that you have to realign. And so what they're telling us, what Spirit's telling us, is do what you have to do to be able to do that. So if somebody told you once that you're not a good singer, your voice isn't good enough for blah, 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 right? And yet you can sing. You can carry a tune. And you're probably a lot better than the person thought you were. And so to heal that part that you believed what someone else said about you, and to let it go, so that you can really move into your gift, which is your voice, right? That's an example. Or if you're a writer and somebody told you that you don't write well enough for, is to heal that and let that go, to move past it. Get an editor. Get your thoughts down on the paper, your emotions down on the paper, your heart on the paper. And then let someone else use their gift, which is editing, to help you to be able to use your voice in a written word, so that it's clear, so that others can actually bring it in, right? To absorb it. So that's what this is what I think it means, or what I feel it means, is that is to burn away any fear or shame that stands between you and your desires. So if you desire to be a writer or a singer or an artist or a lawyer or a plumber, it doesn't matter. If somebody said something or something happened that's holding you back from stepping into that and using your gifts through that, yeah, you use the fire to remove it. Burn that away, that stands between you and what you want, what you desire. When this card appears, you're reminded that passion is powerful and absolutely encouraged by Spirit. Okay, so wait a minute. I want to say, so Tina is saying that okay, were you feeling concerned? Is that what you were thinking about? Or were you concerned about the eagle? Yeah, I guess what I'm asking is that just before you realized, hey, there's an eagle, just seconds or even minutes before that, what were you thinking about? What were you feeling about it? Okay. Seconds before, even a minute before, depending on maybe what you and your husband were talking about. Okay. That's what I'm looking for. Exactly. Yo, Doug, it's a bit pitchy. Exactly. You know, I know a young lady who loved singing, and she does have a great voice. Loved it. And, she was in musicals all through her high school years. She was part of 2 or 3 different choirs, and beautiful voice. She thinks that she wants to get into a certain choral group at the college level, right? And so she tried out and she didn't make it. And she was told that her voice wasn't good enough. And so what did she do? She stopped singing. Yeah. She stopped singing. Now, has she picked it back up? I don't know. I haven't asked her that. I think she probably would have said something. But that's an example again of somebody, you allow them to place a block between you and your desire, right? So Tina's saying concerned and humble and amazed, all of it. Yeah, that is going to be a memory that you're going to share with your grandchildren, and it's going to get passed down generation to generation. Yep. And that you have the video. So for your grandchildren, preserve that video, and maybe you can use it as a teaching tool for your grandchildren. As you tell the story, they can actually watch it, right? Yeah. And it was a couple years ago. Yeah. So there. Yeah. And she's saying it was a very spiritual message to all. Mm-hmm. Certainly is. It certainly is. So yeah, again, thank you for sharing that. It was made me feel good. It did. And so Kyle goes on to say, the fire of desire can burn away any old setbacks that are preventing you from expressing that part of your nature. Okay, your gifts, expressing yourself. And so when you have these two cards together, to me, it really is about how we allocate our energy. Spirit really wants us to use our gifts. That's how our soul shines through. And so whatever it is that is holding you back from that is to call on Spirit to take up some of the things that they can do for us, that your spiritual team can do for you. So that frees up some of your energy to put toward your healing work, so that you can utilize your gifts even more, and that you trust your intuition. You trust yourself. Right? Yeah. And that the fire guardian can help to do that, is to help you to remove any of the blocks or the interferences to using your gifts and having that kind of deep passion for them, right? Yeah. Yep. I was, we're working on the magazine, Star Nations magazine, the February issue. And I'm so close to getting the initial preparation of each of the articles completed. So close. I've got 2 more to do. And Paul was telling me last night, he said, because I was working on it, and he says, man, you get really focused when you work on that part of the magazine. And I said, to me, this is the creative part. This is me using my gifts to be able to bring the writers raw material, their article, and sometimes even their own photographs, and get them polished up a little bit more, so that when I hand it off to the layout specialists, they have the best possible raw materials to work with to create a beautiful frame around someone else's gifts. So we're all using our gifts in a good way, right? The writers are doing their best to express a message that's coming through them. Many of the articles are channeled, and so when they do that writing, they take it and they give it to their editor, the editor who's using their gifts edit the material so that it's got that first layer of polishing on it. Then it comes to me, and I get it into the form that it needs to be in so that it's polished again, you know. And then we take it and then we hand it off to Elf Elm, to Angelica, and to Nissa, and they're using their gifts, their creativity to put these pieces into place. I call them the elves for a reason. They have magic, these two ladies, and they create this beautiful frame around these articles, right? So that when you guys get to read them, that you feel all of that spirit. You feel all of us in that one article. To me, that's alchemy. To me, that is so much dang fun. It's not work to me or for me. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Rob is saying, I know someone who stopped singing and recently started again. She's playing with someone who just started playing guitar again after 25 years. I know those same two people. And let me tell you, their soul shines when they're performing, when they're making that music, when they're combining their gifts to create something very beautiful. And that beauty is their souls, the expression of their gifts. There's nothing like it. Right? Yeah, that's that. In that moment, Rob, wouldn't you say that they are who they really are in that moment? That we get to see, experience, feel these two souls that are expressing their gifts, that we get to glimpse who they really are, their souls. I think so. Because you can feel it in anything that somebody's using their gifts from their heart. You can feel it, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel the same way when I dance Native American powwow dancing. I used to be a competitor when I was younger, competitive dancing. But for me, it wasn't so much about winning the prize. It was about connecting to the drum and to Grandmother Earth, my heart. Yeah, I still love to do it. I had a couple of drummers once tell me, and it was in Madison. It was in the spring powwow. This was probably, I don't know, 12 years ago or so. There was a drum there that some of the drummers I hadn't danced to in a long, long time. I thought they had retired, and so anyway, their drum was there, and so I said, I got to get up and dance, and so I did. And there's a lot of people there, and so I went up to put some money on the drum, thanking them. And when I wasn't going to say anything, right, because I figured they probably wouldn't remember me because it was such a long time ago. And so I went up and, I said thank you, and I gave the drum some money, and the one of the older drummers looked at me and he goes, I know you. And I said, yeah, kinda, yeah, you do. I said, you used to work down at Stand Rock when I did, and he goes, oh yeah. He says, you were the little girl who really liked to dance, and you still do, can tell. He says, that's why we like to drum, is to watch those dancers who dance with their heart, And so, that was nice. It was a compliment, and I took it to heart, right? All right. So Rob is saying, well, they are a pair of goofs, but they are talented musicians. Yes, they are. And It's a good thing they found that they can blend their gifts together really well, don't you think? I think so. Yeah. So, all right. So anything and everything we talked about today, if it resonated with you, please embrace it and sense, feel, see how the energy unfolds around you today and where this information is useful or helpful to you. Um, and that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing. If it didn't resonate with you, don't worry about it. You can just let it lie. Not going to hurt anybody's feelings by saying, "Oh, I didn't get that one. Didn't resonate with me." That's all right. There's always tomorrow or the day after or the day after. Had to take a little drink there. Water. So what do we have for you guys today? I call Tuesdays terrific Tuesdays at Star Nations. I do. Because we have 3 shows, including this one for you. Polly Joe. I hope you guys caught Polly Joe's noon Eastern show today. Holy smokes. That was some information she shared. And it's true. I prepped her article last night, and it's a channeled message from the Ancient One. And I'm hoping that when you guys read it, you're going to feel the energy flowing through that article as much as I did about the heart. But her show is really good. If you missed it, what we can do is try to get the recorded link in the comments so that you guys can see it if you didn't catch it live. And of course, there's this show, right? And then tonight is Communications from Home, which is my weekly show. And tonight is the last Tuesday of the month. So you know what that means. We're doing the Unity Breath Meditation. It's an ancient way of connecting to Grandmother Earth and Grandfather Sky, and creating that frequency of love. And it's a way of remembering what it is to be in that frequency, because we came in that way. When we came in as a spirit into this physical body, we knew that frequency. And so this is just helping you to remember. And the more often that we do that meditation, or to bring that frequency, our vibration to that frequency, we remember how to hold that frequency for even longer periods of time. And so it's all about love tonight. And so if you can join me for the meditation, that would be great. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's called the Unity Breath Meditation, and it's a guided meditation. So, and then tomorrow, Wednesday, is Polly Jo LeBay's evening show, 7 p.m. Eastern, and that is Soul Connections. And that is all about healing. You bring your intention for healing, your spiritual team. And Polly Jo and her team, they hold the sacred space for us, and they assist our teams in helping us to heal and or release what needs to be released. And in the second half of that, Polly Jo does card reads for everybody. Anybody who wants an oracle card receives a card in a mini reading. And so, yeah, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. If you haven't experienced a Wednesday night, you have to come down and join us. And it's a really good healing evening. Let's put it that way. And Thursday is the last Thursday of the month, which means it's Elders Day here at Star Nations. Our elders have their live stream shows on the last Thursday. So Connie Shervater kicks off Thursday morning at 10:30 a.m. with her show, Spiritual Mysteries of Life. And what is she talking about this month? She's talking about Spirit's Choice. Yeah. I produce both shows, so I get to sit in the front row for that. And I have to tell you that Connie, she always has a golden nugget of wisdom for us, always. And yeah, I don't know. She thinks that, her team wants her to to do some channeling work during her shows, and so she's stepping into that. I can't promise you that she's going to be channeling on Thursday, but there's always that possibility, right? And then Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern is the Mystery School with Orchard and Carl Franklin. And I get to produce their show and actually come on their show with them. We're going to be talking about this book on Thursday night. Earth's Ascension, Nibiru and the Spirit Realm. This is Carl's book, just recently published. And so we get to talk to the author and get some of the backstory. I'm sure Orchard wouldn't mind sharing some of the backstory to that. And so we're going to be talking about his book. If you haven't read it, it's got some really good stuff in it. There's a couple of questions I want to ask Carl about the book, especially about the crystal children, and a couple other things. So anyway, if you can join us, that would really be really grand if you could. So with that, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday evening, and we'll see you back here hopefully for Communications from Home at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. Okay? All right. Bama Mina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.